the social media week, and this is the second session. There are so many activities, but I personally just picked out the ones I want to go to. So for the second session, I picked the YouTube masterclass and the online film distribution. So I'll show you guys that, and of course the first session you also see that probably before this video. I doubt I'm going to be here tomorrow and on Friday, but if I do come, then I'm definitely going to vlog and let you guys in on what I witnessed. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If there's anything that you want to see on my channel, do let me know, and follow me on social media. I have the links in the description box below. I'll see you guys in another video.
Are able to get that following to take an action, and there is, there's a relationship between the influencer and that audience of theirs, whereby there is a mutual beneficial relationship, so that they can put something out there, they can say something, they can talk about a cause, a product, or a service, and that audience that follows them will take an action based on that. And the ultimate result of that is it causes, a change or an action in purchasing behavior. So maybe you see me talk about a product today, you might not necessarily be interested. Tomorrow you see me using a product, you see me doing a review about it, then you see me with other friends using our products, and you're following my page or you're following my account, so you're seeing all of this. And then these other people are also talking about it in a positive light, how it's helped them and all of that. And that might then inform you to go like, okay, as opposed to product B, I'll take product A, because whilst product A, I know it might be good. While product B, I know it might be good. Product A has shown me that it is good. It shown me how it's being used. It shown me that there are no side effects. And this person I follow uses it. So that straight away gives me a clear, path towards purchasing a product. These are the three main things that a brand needs from an influencer. So looking at reach and engagement. Now, let's say you have 1 million people following you, and you put out content, and only 10 people like it. Return on investment on that kind of engagement is quite poor. So whilst having a large following is important, what is most important about that is you could have 10,000. If you have 10,000 and 5,000 engage with the content you put out there, you actually have more value than a guy who has 1 million and has only 10 people engaging. Because that means that audience you have, irrespective of size, is highly engaged. And if you put out content, you share some information, you're likely to get better feedback, as opposed to, that very large following with just 10 people liking it. So what then becomes important for a brand is, okay, does this influencer have a following? Yes, that's important, but there are different ranges of followers. So they could look at, depending on what they are trying to say, look at what the reach of the audience they're trying to get. It might matter or not matter, but then what really becomes critical is when I put out content, how many people are engaging with it? How many people are liking it, sharing it, and commenting on it? Because then that means that there's a likelihood that people will ask about my product or service. There's a likelihood that people want to know where to get it. What are the benefits of it, and even to find out whether there are any promotions being done soon or whenever, because ultimately that is more valuable to me as a brand than just how many people follow you. Okay. Now in understanding that, it's okay, fine. If the influencer was create that reach and engagement, then they need to understand their audience. So if my audience likes to eat, let's say my audience are a group that like to eat a lot of local food. I have no business coming to promote food from, say, Burger and Reddish. Whilst the food there might be nice, I should be able to understand my audience, understand their demographic, whether they are predominantly male or female, whether they are middle class, upper class. It's important. Then that allows you to make sure that the content you're putting there is relevant to them. Because if the content you're putting there is relevant to them, then definitely the engagement and the reach would increase. So as an influencer, you should be able to tell the brand, okay, this is my audience. This is the categorization of my audience. It's predominantly male or female. They are within this age group, and these are their interests. That allows you to, display clearly to a brand what kind of value you're bringing to them, what kind of return on investment they're going to get when they choose to have a relationship with you. So that's something as an influencer is very key that you need to understand. Now, finally, I'll say celebrity or notoriety. And this, depending on where you stand, you might like a Shatawale. Or you might say, okay, maybe he's too, so then you might want someone else. But at the end of the day, he has the same following as, say, a Sarkodie. But clearly, one has a more crafted image than the other. Now, depending on what you as an influencer you're trying to do, you might want to be a Shatawale or you might want to be a Sarkodie. Then again, it depends on what brands you want to have an association with. And you can still be either one and still have partnership with very big brands, depending on how well crafted your image is, depending on how you can clearly display that return on investment for a brand. But then ultimately, you have to be true to yourself. So if you know you cannot be an influencer for, say, Johnny Walker because you do not drink, there's no point taking that job. Because ultimately, whilst you're promoting that brand online, it will be difficult to promote that brand purely from a static point of view. You would have to show that you're actually living that brand. Clearly, you have to put yourself in situations whereby you get to experience that brand, but you don't drink. How do you plan to put that across? Okay. And the last thing you want is, after you've built up all this currency, for someone to say that, oh, this person is promoting this brand to us, but they don't actually use it. Which also means that you've broken trust with your audience. Because we are making a purchase, we are following a brand, or we're engaging in a brand because you have convinced us that you use that brand. You've told us that, oh, that brand is worth following. But it turns out you don't use the brand, your brand. That's something that as a brand you need to remember. So because of that, there are a lot of things that they might not be willing to do, or they might want to control the narrative. Now, when you have that relationship, with that person, you need to understand that. And understand that you know whether it works for you or not. Also, we also need to remember that because most people know that, okay, maybe this person is an actress, they are a TV personality and that the public who's engaging with them, when they see them promoting a product, we are sort of more inclined to believe that they've been paid for it. So it makes the pool of people that you can believe are genuinely telling you, use this because I use it, very small. But then ultimately, if all you're trying to do is awareness, then it doesn't really matter. An influencer, a brand ambassador, either one works. A brand ambassador, because you have a longer term relationship, you can probably imbibe your brand ethos into them, and you have that with them in a year, 2 years, yes, and you're probably paying them a lot more money, yes. But at the same time, when you want people who are having real conversations with the people that follow them, to be honest, apart from very few brand ambassadors, most don't do that. When I say very few, you can have someone like, once again, I'll use Shatawale, who is having real conversations with his audience. A lot of people have a very crafted image, yeah. So as a brand, you need to be aware of that. And if that works for you, then that's fine. But even people having real conversations with their audiences, usually influencers do that. Because it's almost like the guy next door. So they're having that kind of conversation. So it puts you in the middle of that conversation, as opposed to, oh, this famous person is trying to sell me something. So I suppose that's the advantage and disadvantage between those two.
Well, for me, I think based on, let's say, your marketing objective and maybe the budget you have, I would look at, let's say, an influencer in the sense that
okay, I can get more influencers to do stuff for me, and I can tap into their audience, which might be even larger than my brand ambassador's audience. You get? So the same money I'll pay to a brand ambassador, I can pay to say 5 influencers, and they'll give me more value, more reach, more awareness than just using my one brand ambassador. But however, like Koku said, if maybe you want someone for the long run and then someone that can imbibe your brand ethics and everything, then maybe you can look for a brand ambassador. But if you want wider reach, you want to get into more audiences, you can use influencers rather, because you can spread that money across much more influencers. All right.
Monetization. It has to do with the number of views exactly that you get. YouTube tends to pay as well as the ads that you talked about. I wanted to know about how the criteria for which YouTube uses to pay those views and how long they view.
YouTube necessarily does not pay per view. Doesn't pay per view. It's more about how long people engage with the adverts which is run on your channel. And to get high value adverts, you need to have a much longer watch time. The lengthier watch time enables you to have the high value adverts, because there are different types of adverts, like I stated earlier. When you have the high value adverts, people then need to interact with it. Should the adverts be running and people skip it, you are not earning anything. So people either need to watch, or people will need to click the link which comes with the adverts. So there's not necessarily a figure that I have 1,000 subscribers, I should have this X amount of money or something. No, it's all about how much people interact with the adverts which run on your content.
I want to add another point onto that. Quality of ads is what determines the money you get in the end. So you might be in Ghana and get 1 million views, and someone in America might get 10,000 views, but get more money than you, because they have better quality ads. So views don't always count for everything.
So in your response to him, you've said things that I don't understand. What are we calling quality of ads here? So that I can know that I need to do this as a YouTube channel to be able to get ads. And then my substantive question, I am a brand looking to put my ad on YouTube. Whose decision is it as to which channel my ad would eventually run on? Do you understand my question?
On your last question, your substantive one, YouTube determines which advert runs on which channel based on the number of views that certain channels, certain contents are getting during a certain time period. So when you watch YouTube, you see that videos released recently, which are doing well, amassing lots of views and stuff, they get more adverts than videos which were released probably years ago, which are not getting consistent or let me put it this way, are not getting high traffic at that moment, at that point in time. So YouTube will determine which channel it should place your advert based on the value of your advert, which you give to them. Should your advert be a little pricier than the normal, they're going to place it on channels which have higher watch times. So if it's a little bit lower, they might not get to these channels which have high watch times. They might be seen somewhere in the channel which has a watch time but it's relatively lower. Yeah, sure.
It appears to me that the response is taking it from the point of view of the channel. But I'm interested in, you see how as MTN, if I'm going to TV, what station? City TV, I get to decide that I need this ad to be placed on the morning any say as to who is getting to see their ad?
YouTube decides who will see your advert. But when you're creating an advert, you then you choose the demographics, the regions, the age group, the people with certain interests which should be shown to. All these things count, but you cannot choose a specific channel to which an advert should be run. You can only choose the age ranges and the interests to which adverts should be served to, and the regions and the quality of ads.
Yeah. So the quality of ads, I want to approach this from a business owner's perspective. You're approaching YouTube and you want to get your ads on YouTube. You can choose what type of adverts you're trying to get. There's different price ranges. All that stuff plays into it, different lengths and everything. So the quality adverts are usually slightly longer. If it's Nike we're using here as an example, Nike would have invested a bit more in that advert. That's a quality advert. You know that they spent money to put it on YouTube, therefore YouTube is paying more to run it on your video. That's kind of how it works. That's where the quality comes in. So cheaper ads, which you're more likely to find. See, but
Cheaper ads. Retention rate more or less also boils down to what I earlier said about traffic. Retention is retaining a certain number of viewers for a certain period at a certain period. If it's a shorter duration and you have more views, you have a lengthier retention rate period. Those things also boil down to watch time. So retention rate helps your watch time. So the much more watch time you have, that's when you have much more adverts. But then with the 4,000, 5,000 views difference, it boils down to the number of ads which are running on YouTube during that period.
But they are no more than 10 minutes.
No, not talking about the duration of your video. I'm talking about your entire watch time for the whole channel. That's what YouTube bases it off. It calculates every watch time for every content on your channel. That's what it bases it on to serve you adverts. But with the difference in both contents, both videos, the thing is, there are certain moments on YouTube that there are much more adverts running than certain periods. During the World Cup period, there are going to be less adverts because everyone's attention is going to football. So if you have a video which probably has a million views during that period, probably it's going to have less revenue because there are going to be less ads. If there's going to be an advert, it's going to be mostly focused on football stuff and everything. But during other periods, possibly Christmas periods, there are going to be ads related to shopping and stuff. So there are going to be more ads during Christmas periods comparatively than to World Cup periods. So probably if you have a video during that period, it's going to earn much more revenue than one which you release during another period. If you base it on views, it's not going to add up, it's not going to necessarily make sense per se. It also boils down to your geography. In Ghana, there are less ads on YouTube from this country. So you cannot determine ad revenue per se.
I also have a question. My name is Nancy. I'm an educational blogger on YouTube. I know that some people outside, from those in the US, I heard them say that for every 1,000 views, they get money played to them on YouTube. And they also spoke about the CPM. But here lies the case. He mentioned that it's only from advert that you can get paid from YouTube. So where does the CPM and the 1,000 views per each video comes in?
CPM relates to the advert value, more or less.
From the Samsung owned page. It's all the media brands. Now let's take it on to a more local context. Here, this is what maybe a user would be typing into Google. Best phones to buy in Ghana. Because we all do that. Once you get some money and you actually want to buy a phone, you want to make sure you get the best one. Because you know how hard it was for you to get that money. So you want to get the best phone once and for all. So you probably go into Google and type, best phones to buy in Ghana. And this is a snippet, so it's called Feature Snippet by Google, where they have extracted from a media brand's content. And then they are showing the phones that the media brand has listed in that article over here. This is the first result on Google. You can actually try it. Just type for best phones to buy in Ghana. Well, you will see an ad over there, but that's a different topic left for Ibuku. Now, I'm going to jump the gun a bit, and I need another mic for this because I actually want answers. Now, in the content you see over here, which of these ones look like an ad? Just because you are close to me and I know your name, Kat. So the 3 posts over here, 1, 2, 3. Which one looks like an ad? Or which one is an ad? I think all of them are ads. Okay? Anybody? I can't come all the way back, but you can. Yes, you have your hand up.
The first one.
The first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody? Yes, you? The first one. Any different opinion?
The second one.
The second one. Like let's choose that. Any other opinion?
Third one.
Perfect. I love it. I just want everyone to actually to get at least one choice. So, guide is right. Very right. They are all ads. Ads for Sony, commissioned by Sony for their PlayStation product. I think this was in 2010 or 12. I've forgotten. And then they commissioned BuzzFeed to create this post for them. Interesting thing you'll note. This is how BuzzFeed content looks like. 12 cats we love on the internet today. 12 things about Caitlyn Jenner that you didn't want to know, but you will click and want to know about it. 10 food you should have eaten when you were in Hawaii. That is how BuzzFeed content looks. They've understood that this is their target audience. This is what they consume. Where we are now. Organic brand engagement on social media is dead, and it is most likely not your fault. Organic brand engagement. So when you post on Facebook, you have 100,000 people following your page. You post on Facebook. How many of these people actually like, comment, share, or do anything with your post? So if you notice, you have 100,000 followers. You post and then you see like 3 likes.
I was on Twitter. I had a discussion with my friend about 3 days ago. Elon Musk has close to, 20-something million followers. But when he tweets, he gets lots of likes and retweets. But compared to his actual followers, it's like, maybe 2 or 5% of his audience. So I'm just asking whether it cuts across the various media platforms, as in they are actually creating and using the algorithms to limit the reach of those posts.
Yes and no. On Facebook and Instagram, of course, that creation is happening at a point that, like, see, me myself, I post sometimes and I'm like, I should just delete this and post another time. You understand? It doesn't work, but on Twitter, it's real time. So, at any given point in time, Elon Musk's 20 million followers are not all online. 26.7 are not all online. So Twitter is very real time, that when you post it just shifts. Now what they've done is they do the whole in case you missed it thing. So then they look at people that you have interacted with a lot. When they post when you're not on the app, you then tend to see that again at some point, like, oh, like you probably missed this or something like that. That is how it kind of works. But for Facebook and Instagram, they are really, really creating the feed, trying to make sure that you get the right things, and also trying to make sure that you spend money to boost your stuff. Exactly. So, as most digital marketers know, you have to spend your money on Zuckerberg to get engagement from the loyal following or the loyal audience that you have built on social media. You've done all the work, you've done all the great things, you've gotten 250,000 people to follow your brand page. Then Zuckerberg wants you to again pay extra to get those people to engage with your content. Now, even social media contests and other engagement tricks that we then run bring the same results from owning prize hunters. Bring the same results and even lead gens, I know. Interesting. Bring the same results from prize hunters. Who here knows there's this one thing, and you can put some stickers on top of it. You can do a lot of different things on there. We've done that a lot of times. We've seen the consumption on our stories is almost even greater than what we want to just get on our posts. Because for some reason, people love watching, again, Ghanaians love watching stuff. So, for Nestle Nigeria, we ran an extensive campaign via our Instagram stories on Pulse Nigeria. We called it Pulse Conversation. I would love to get people to talk about this because he understands the mechanics and then he can tell the story better. So, Abby, if you can just explain. I told you I'll call you now.
Okay, I can talk a bit about the campaign. So basically, it was to create more awareness for one of their brands, specifically actually Maggie as well. And we've seen a lot of engagement in stories. So we told the story about it. So that was a lady that was setting out during the day. And on Paul's Instagram, we just posted that this lady was about to go out. And then she shared a story about what was happening to her in real time, which is a guy just drove past and then splashed water on her. And so she now, using polls, would ask a question about what should she do. Should she, abuse the guy, or should she just let him go? And then people would engage because you can pick yes or no to A or B. And then she falls in love with the guy. It's like wow, that's actually very good looking. He's offering me a ride. Should I get into the car or should I not get into the car? And people just follow that entire story up until the point where she goes, I think he's coming to my house. I need to cook for him. What do I cook? What seasoning should I use? And all of this is happening within Instagram stories. And a lot of people followed it. It was a fantastic campaign for them. And it was really useful. So.
It wasn't real, but it wasn't fabricated too. It's a story we're telling by the conversation. And one science to see over there, or the science behind that is, one, people love control. That story didn't run like in 5 minutes. It ran like throughout the whole day. And people kept coming back because they want to see the story they are controlling. Because when we ask, what should I do next? Should I go into the car or should I blah, blah? They feel like they have the control. Of course, they have the control. Whenever they told the story video, encouraging users to engage. So you can see here, this is a video one. And then this one is an interactive one where you can scroll to see more product. Why rich media? Or what are the benefits of rich media over the regular static ads? Rich media provides better user experience in comparison to static ads. This was research done by Media Science and Cargo called Optimized for Mobile Eyes. They released this report in 2016. So people, after being exposed to a static ad and then a rich media ad, they had to fill this form. Oh, which one did you find more creative? These are the results from that. And then which one did you find, again, these are the interesting things here. Did you find the rich media one disruptive? Almost the same because it's ad. They know it's an ad, so they're like, it's disruptive. Is it intrusive? Is it annoying? Now, to go down further, they are more engaging than static ads in the sense that we're thinking, How would people want to then do this whole ready to drink thing? How do we communicate your brand message within something that the target audience would love to engage with? Created a swipe app to fill for mobile. So when the ad is in the feed, it shows you that, oh, swipe up. People swipe up and then it fills and then the click through happens to the page where Milo wants them to go. Down here is another one we created for Maggie in Ghana, where then they were launching the Maggie the Dede. They wanted to highlight the key parts of the product, which was it contains onion, fish, shrimp, and garlic. But so we created a pot, nice looking pot, where you can drag fish, shrimp, and garlic to cook an interesting meal. You can see people dragging fish and everything in here. This is just another version of the Maggie RTD, where you pack your champion's lunchbox. Again, you can see the target audience for each of them is quite different. This is mostly going to be targeted towards parents, especially mothers, young mothers, where they're supposed to pack their what should your champion take to school and everything. Interesting thing here is we actually own the media that we deploy these ads on, so we can ideate around how can we shake some things around on our platform to make these ads work. So, a lot of talk from my side. Next steps, actionable steps. How do you leverage branded reach for yourself or for any brand that you're working with? First things, define your goals. Like every other marketing venture, define your goals. It's almost surprising, but most people do not define their goals. So at the end, they'll be like, oh, the campaign didn't work. Oh, but we got 200 clicks. Yeah, but you run a click campaign. So then, define your goals. It should be centered on your marketing goals and the KPIs you want to achieve. Now, back to what I mentioned for the Nestle one, the first video that I showed. What they wanted to achieve was awareness. They knew that these videos will go off our platform. They knew that these videos will gain engagement. They knew that these videos are things that are likely to go viral. So for the purposes of the awareness and then the engagement that they are looking for, that is why we run that that campaign in that format for them. So define your goals, because then it will really help you with everything else that you want to do. So define your goals and then know who you are talking to. Two examples here. For Maggie, of course, we use the Pulse Ghana food platform because that's where we have built the audience that is interested in food. For Philips, the platform we used was Business Insider, where then they're looking for the more C-level people, the more CMOs, CEOs, people who read the kind of business level content they're looking for. So if you know the target audience again, it will again help you define the format and define which brand publisher you should go with. For this particular one, I couldn't find the meme I wanted, so I just created this one. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. But define your format. So now if you've done those two things, pretty sure you don't even have to think of defining your format, it will be defined for you. When you define the format, you should keep in mind that you are creating content with a rich partner. So be it a media brand or a media brand in this case, or a publisher. It is important to keep in mind that each rich partner has formats that work best for them and also for your objectives. If you are looking to reach people who are interested in DSA, well, I would love to have been the one running the DSA show, but I'm not. So you again define your format. But if you look at defining the audience, defining the how do I put it, the objectives, you will choose the format already. Because if you define the audience, I want people who are interested in these dance things. My objectives are looking for awareness and awareness. You might want to do a DSA with Adum FM or Adum TV. Forgotten the TV station. Atinka TV. If you're looking for this kind of audience too, that then is in what's the name? It's outside Ghana, so like the expert audience, the people with the needs and everything. You might look at what campaign you can run with Business Insider and or Ghana Web or Modern Ghana, the platforms that get a lot of expert visits or diaspora visits. Yes.
I've heard you talk about, with respect to the targets, I've already talked about clicks and creating awareness. I'm not hearing of the end game, maybe sales. Somebody comes that I want to see this volume or increase in my product sales by the end of this period. Do you also do that? And is the process the same or there are differences?
Thank you for that. I think I mentioned it briefly. One of the most difficult things to sell is insurance. It's the most difficult thing to sell. Let me rephrase that. One of the most difficult things I've ever had to sell is insurance. For Old Mutual, that was the thinking that went into it. How do people buy insurance? Ghanaians don't. That's what they told us. Like Ghanaians feel like, oh, it's okay, God will take care of me or something so they don't really want to buy insurance. But then we also looked at it and realized that but the people that you're trying to sell the insurance to, they actually have the needs that you're trying to fulfill. But you are telling them that's a need in a brand-led format, so they don't like it. So what we did, we ran this, we call it lead generation funnel, very extensive, to get them actual qualified leads for people who, if they call and be like, okay, you seem to be interested in this, will you buy, they can convert them. And one of the content I showed is how to plan funerals and how to, then the other one we created for them was how to budget for your child's education now so you don't suffer in the future. And then we shared all of that. People read the content, they click on something in there like, do you want to know more information? They sign up to get something, and then we refine them through other processes. They see some video ads somewhere, they see on our platform, and then again we refine them. They fill the last form, which then makes us know that these people, if you now call them now and tell them this insurance is for you to buy it. We got 261 qualified leads for them at the end of the campaign. I think it was 3 months. Yes. For selling insurance. Only in Ghana, of course. Yes. The cost implication here is these brands are small. No, the cost implication here is, again, one thing I mentioned was that the cost per result is lower. Because why? Without a brand, we would be creating the vox pops either ways. Right? Without a brand, we'll be creating the social videos either ways. So it's wonderful. Like when you look at all this, it's very wonderful. But I can tell you, because I know the costs for us creating it, it's like looking at the results you get and the amount of money you spend, it's minimal.